Welcome to the COMC Community Spotlight Show. It's presented by the great folks at Central Ozarks Medical Center, where your health is their mission. And we've got Dr. Mark Beck with us here today from the Beck Wellness Center. You've probably heard of him. Been around for a little while. How long have you been at the lake?
I've been at the lake about 14 years now.
14 years. And you grew up in Kansas, I think?
Wichita, Kansas, just south of Wichita in Derby, Kansas, yes.
Okay, so a little bit of a change.
A lot of change, and I practiced there for 20 years after I got out of school, so I spent most of my life in that part of the world.
Wichita, okay.
Yeah.
What drew you?
Don't hold that against me, though.
No, I know, that's the next one. You know, what drew you to the Lake of the Ozarks?
Well, I actually met my wife in St. Louis. I moved there.
Okay.
And so I lived there and practiced there for 10 years. And then we had a lake house, and we were actually taking care of her mom there towards the end, and her mom passed away. And we looked at each other and said, well, let's just move to the lake.
Yeah.
So we did.
That's a good idea. That was a good choice. And what you do, Beck Wellness Center, you started out as a chiropractor, and you do so much more now, and we'll talk about that. But you can pick up and move and start a new clinic somewhere, but you also have to find new clients if you do that.
Well, I agree with that, but I'm of the opinion I could practice anywhere in the country or the world, but it's just a matter of licensing and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And I think if you're good at what you do, you're going to be busy in a relative short period of time. And I was when I moved to the lake. And
yeah.
I like it.
That word of mouth came out. Okay, so you're more than a chiropractor. That's kind of the base thing, but you have added neuropathy to that.
Correct.
You've added plantar fasciitis, spinal decompression. You do a whole lot more than just like what the normal chiropractor might do.
Correct, but not to be a jack of all trades and the master of none is it's all musculoskeletal type of problems.
Okay.
And nerves, which the spine is a bunch of nerves and muscles and bones, and so I just took and extended that. So pretty much every joint in the body or nerve or muscle I can work on,
right,
to a greater or lesser degree.
And that all kind of plays together to a certain degree, right?
To a huge degree,
right?
Because the spine is the more complicated of all of them.
Yeah.
So if you can work on the spine and help people with those kind of problems, then you can work on a knee, ankle, a foot,
right,
a shoulder.
Because there's kind of an interrelation always happening there, right?
It's muscles, ligaments, tendons, and nerves.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's all the same thing, just a different area of the body.
That's fascinating. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. How did you decide you wanted to get into this field? Was there a switch that flipped at some point, or what?
Well, I was out of high school and I was working construction, and I hurt my back really bad.
Okay.
I was laying in bed for a couple of weeks, went to the medical doctor, and they took x-rays and did their exam, and they told me that I herniated a disc and I would probably be in a wheelchair by the time I'm 45.
Ooh.
I didn't like that. And so I ended up going to a chiropractor. There's another side story to that, but I don't want to take the whole time talking about that.
Right.
But anyway, I ended up going to a chiropractor to help me, and I was already in school at that point, and I decided, well, let me see what it takes to become a chiropractor.
Yeah.
Well, I was kind of on a pre-med program, and it's like, well, there isn't a whole lot of difference in this part. So I was in chiropractic school a short time after that, and it's been history ever since.
So getting injured kind of opened your eyes to, oh, hey, this is real, this works, and then I could even do this.
Well, yes, because I didn't think much of chiropractors before I went to one. In fact, I thought they were quacks.
Right.
Now I am one.
Now he is one.
So
it is funny though how things have changed over the years and the opinion of that.
Absolutely. I think the medical doctors actually can appreciate chiropractors for what they do now. I don't do what they do, and they don't do what I do, and I don't do what a physical therapist does, and they don't do what I do. And I think we should all get along and play in the same field, because we're still out here trying to help people.
Yeah.
And that's the main goal.
Absolutely, or it should be.
Well,
right.
That's my point of view.
Sometimes it's not, but it should be. So if I'm hearing it right, you kind of started out with the chiropractic stuff, and over the years you've just kind of added things on top of that, the neuropathy and the plantar fasciitis and stuff like that?
Correct. Well, as I got bored.
Oh yeah.
Just doing plain chiropractic. I do that, and I do that every day still. But I don't want that to be all that I do. And so I had an interest in helping people with pain, so I ended up getting a diplomat in pain management, so it makes me a pain specialist. And that was 30 years ago. or a little more than 30 years ago now. Time flies.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing this now for 43 years.
You don't even look that old.
Well, looks can be
It's the makeup or something, right?
Makeup, that's what it is. You guys spent hours doing makeup on me this
He's
morning.
in the chair for right.
About 2 minutes. But no, it's but anyway, lost my train of thought on that one.
So just you get bored with just chiropractic and you go, what's this neuropathy thing and what's plantar fasciitis? And then you kind of...
Well, I got interested in the pain management aspect, and I did that for a lot of years, but the neuropathy has its own deal that got me interested in that is my wife's mom, her name is Anna, she lost her significant other in 2005.
Okay.
And what do you do with your blind and diabetic mother-in-law? Do you put her in a home or do you build an apartment for her? So we built an apartment for her in the basement. She had a nice bedroom, bathroom, living room, dining room, kitchen with the laundry facilities. So she could pretty much take care of herself, but she needed help on a daily basis with doing her blood sugar and her insulin. And she loved listening to old movies and Westerns on TV. And she was always fall asleep with her remote in her hand, so she needed help fixing that thing on a daily basis, it seemed.
Okay.
So she needed help on a daily basis, because when you don't have any kind of stimulation or input and you're blind, it ain't a very exciting world out there. And,
yeah.
But anyway, so 3 years into that, she developed peripheral neuropathy. We took her to doctor. So I was trained the same way, and the medical doctors all said, well, there's nothing to be done about it. And I thought the same thing. Well, 3 years after that, she developed a sore between her toes, and she didn't notice it until her socks were sticking to her foot.
Yeah.
And she brought it to our attention because, I mean, it only took like a week or so to get that way, I think. But we took her to the hospital, and she never made it home. She ended up passing away within a year, but they amputated 2 toes, and she made us promise to stop cutting toes off. And we honored that promise, but she ended up dying from the sepsis from the gangrene in the foot. So,
wow.
So that's my introduction to neuropathy, and it's like, man, this is really a sad deal, sad event. But it gave me, when I heard that neuropathy could be helped, and first of all, my BS meter went off, and it said, no, this is not so. But I started studying, and it's like, well, yes, it is so.
Interesting.
So I took a great interest in it, and that is my reason behind it.
Wow, you really dove into that. Okay, so we're going to get more in that story. That sounds fascinating. When we come back, we're talking with Dr. Mark Beck, the Beck Wellness Center. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the COMC Community Spotlight Show. At COMC, your health is our mission. Central Ozarks Medical Center offers 3 OBGYNs at the Osage Beach Clinic and 2 pediatricians with same-day appointments available. At COMC, our doors are open to everyone with 5 primary care locations conveniently located across the Ozarks. COMC for the best medical, dental, and behavioral health care. Get more info on how COMC can help you at centralozarks.org. COMC, where your health is our mission. Welcome back to the COMC Community Spotlight Show, talking with Dr. Mark Beck, Beck Wellness Center. And you do so many things, chiropractic, neuropathy, spinal decompression, so much. We were talking about neuropathy, and there was a time when it was like untreatable, right? People thought you couldn't treat it.
Well, and a lot of people still feel that way, and a lot of doctors feel that way because they were trained that way like I was.
Right.
But there is a way to treat it. And it's fairly successful. I would like to say we're about 95% successful at moving the needle, but I really like those cases when we get them almost 100% better.
Oh, sure.
And we have a lot of those.
What is neuropathy?
Neuropathy is basically where the nerves in the feet, and well, let's back up and say there's over 200 different kinds of neuropathy.
Okay.
So we have to start narrowing it down, but the most classic kind of neuropathy, people say, well, you have to be diabetic to have neuropathy, and that's not true. Only about 1/3 of the people that have neuropathy are diabetic. So there's 2/3 of them that aren't diabetic. So it's coming from other causes. And those causes could be a lot of times side effects of other treatments. And I'm not going to say that those treatments are very necessary, because sometimes they're side effects to radiation or chemo or some other kind of medical thing. And they save people's lives, so that's well worth it.
Right.
But sometimes it's a side effect of those things.
So
and other drugs can cause it too.
It's nerves, basically.
It's nerves. And nerves are dying.
Okay.
And they're dying from the most distal part basically in the toes, and it usually works its way up the legs.
Okay.
And then it can start in the fingers and work its way up the arms.
Interesting. Okay.
And it depends on which nerves are involved, which makes all the different kinds of neuropathies. And then sometimes it goes more to the autonomic side and messes with the autonomic nervous system versus just the peripheral nervous system. And then we can also have a low back problem contributing to the neuropathy as well. So there could be a lot of different
things playing in on it.
A lot of parts to it, yes.
Right, okay. So you're kind of a light in the darkness for a lot of people who have been told over the years, there's nothing you can do about this, just go quietly sit in the corner and, and you're all of a sudden you go, hey, we might be able to do something to help you here.
Well, and that's a blessing and a curse, because I sit across the people and I say, well, this is what you have and this can be helped. And they say, well, how can this be so? Because I've been to many doctors that have told me opposite of that. And I said, well, it is so, because I do it every day. And I'm a specialist in this. And they, well, I want to guarantee. I can't guarantee it because that's a violation of the law. I said, I can give you my very best, but I can't guarantee results.
Right,
But I can have you talk to some people that are so gracious to allow me to let you talk to them, and they don't have any reservation with that.
That they can tell you that this actually helped them. And that's hope, right? I mean, it's hope for the hopeless.
Absolutely, because it's a very ugly disease, and the quality of the life starts going down just right away. And basically the hope is giving people some hope that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. This can be helped, and it's so rewarding for me to see the results, because they start beaming and coming in. It's even emotional.
Oh, sure.
When people come in and they say, well, I was able to shower without holding onto my walker with both hands for the first time.
Yeah.
So now they can shampoo their hair.
Right.
And
which to us is no big deal. To them, it's everything.
Everything. Yeah. I can drive my car again. I mean, when you start losing your independence, it gets your attention. Yeah. And so I can start driving the car again. I can feel my feet. I can wear shoes to my daughter's wedding. Yeah. So, I mean.
Wow. I can see why you get emotional, because that's life-changing stuff.
Absolutely.
That is so cool. That's your why, right? That's
that
why
is
you
their
do it.
why, and that's my why. Yes, it is.
Okay, so X-rays. Are X-rays important in what you do?
Yes, I think so. Because if you don't see the structure, you don't have a really good idea what's going on a lot of times. Okay. So I like to see what's going on. In neuropathy, it's not so important, but like for the spinal problems, absolutely.
Yeah, and for the chiropractic stuff, yes. Again, you've got, with nerves, you're not going to see those on an X-ray, but chiropractic stuff and stuff that might be playing into the nerves, you can see on an X-ray.
Yeah, you might get indicators and some clues from the X-rays, but they're not going to really tell you this is what's going on. You have to do a specific exam for the neuropathy or whatever body parts ailment.
Right. And if you're dealing with headaches and you see an X-ray of neck, shoulders, and stuff like that, I'm guessing you can go, oh, I see why you get headaches, because this over here is way out of place. Or something. With
a good ballpark. A lot of times I look at the X-ray and they haven't told me they have X-rays, and I said, have you been having headaches? And yeah, how'd you know? I said, well, right here's a problem. And then sometimes they have headaches, and I look at the X-ray and I say, well, I don't see anything here. So sometimes the X-rays are a big help and sometimes they're not.
Interesting.
We always like to say, well, the X-rays show us where the problem is. Well, they don't. They're a clue, they're a tool, but sometimes that is not the problem. And I always like to say, don't just look at the blinking light. The problem can be elsewhere. Yeah. So we have to look at a bigger picture to figure out the problem.
So it's kind of like being a detective in a way. You kind of have to go in there and try to figure things out.
Absolutely. That's how I feel about it, is because when I start an investigation or an examination, I'm trying to get all the facts and I'm trying to pull everything together so it makes sense in my head. Because I won't take somebody on as a patient if I can't help them. Right. I mean, and I've had people come in with problems that's like, man, that's way outside of what I do. And then I had a guy come in yesterday. He saw a new service that we offer, and he came in on that. And I said, that's not what you need. I said, this is what you need over here. And so we did that, and he was very happy when he left, because he was looking for somebody to help him find an answer for his problem, and we ended up helping him. At that point, I don't know what the end result's going to be yet, but I'm anticipating we're going to help him. But we figured out what was going on, and we got him going in the right direction.
All right. There is so much to talk about what you do. We'll have to have you back on, do some more shows, talk more about this kind of stuff. That okay?
Fine with me.
Okay, we'll do that in the future. All right, out of time this time. How do people get more information on Beck Wellness Center? You got a website?
The website's beckwellnesscenter.com. or just call us. It's 573-207-0441.
There you go. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you
for joining us for the COMC Community Spotlight Show.